Hallo, herzlich willkommen zu diesem ersten Video auf einer anderen Art und Basis. Kein Gameplay, sondern wir haben neue News. Und zwar, das Spiel wird sich noch einmal verändern. Changes von den Devs, ich bin gespannt. Let's go.
Welcome everyone to this first edition of the Dev Tapes. This video will cover the too long didn't read of our dev update blog post. So today we're bringing in a few guests that are going to present upcoming changes in design, UI, and animation for the PTB early next week.
Design, UI und Animation.
So here we go. All right, so welcoming Sarah, why are we changing the UI in the next update? And what are we changing?
So when players log in to the PTB for the first time and start their match, biggest change that they're going to notice is that we've completely redesigned the layout of the HUD.
Was ich sofort sehe, ist ein sexy UI an den Seiten. Also zu mir, ich bin Killer Main und ich liebe das einfach, den Progress direkt zentraler zu sehen, wo die Augen halt hinzeigen. Als Killer schaust du schnell nach links, rechts, eigentlich auf deinen ganzen Bildschirm. Und es ist nice, wenn ich links den kürzeren Weg habe und sehe dort die Icons. Ja? Ich sehe auch hier Hook-Icons, by the way. Das ist mega nice. Vielleicht kann man das sogar scalen.
This means that the position of some of the elements that you're used to are no longer in the places that they were before this update. Essentially, what we've done is we've broken
Man sieht auch hier einen Hook-Counter. Ich glaube, das ist ein Hook-Counter. Wow.
Into their own section so that they have their own space. We had reached a point with the UI where our current live UI was no longer able to support all of the
Clown, Cauldron fahren und ein Keygamer. Toxic.
features that we wanted to add from the game design team. So we needed to find a place to give each of these UI elements a new home that had enough room for us to add animations and visual effects, as well as any new pieces of information and features.
All right, do you want to tell us a few examples of what we can expect in the new UI changes?
Yeah, we have a couple new features that you'll notice. The biggest and most obvious one is probably hook counts. We now have a separate widget for killers, which displays.
Wir sehen hier aber auch als Killer nicht die Anzeigen, die wir gerade als Survivor gesehen haben. Wir sehen nur einen generellen Hook-Count. Schade, schade, weil es lässt sich besser einfach so arbeiten, wenn du zählst ja mit als Killer. Ja, du kriegst nur dieses komische Rädchen, wo du den Hook-Count füllst. Wow.
The number of times you have hooked players in the match. This is a positive way of displaying a killer's progress in the match. Previously, we found that for killers, the only sense of any gameplay change that they got was the generator count slowly counting downwards, and this of course doesn't feel very good if you're a killer. So we wanted to give them something that they can feel proud of and look back and see their progress throughout the match. For survivors, they have their own version of this, which is displayed on the actual player status widget. This tells your fellow survivors how many times your teammates have been.
Liebt nicht jeder Mr. Puddles? Hier sehen wir tatsächlich einen Hook-Counter für die Survivors. Finde ich gut, weil es lässt besser timen und es ist besser in Sicht. I like this change.
Worth it to go in for that save or not. As well as giving you a general idea of how your team is doing overall. Another feature that we have is the healthy and injured states for players have been replaced with portraits of those characters. So
wenn du den Charakter also schlägst, also wenn du einen Dried schlägst, leuchtet sein Icon rot. Und wenn er dann liegt, hast du nur so ein liegendes Icon oder was? Und wenn er am Hook ist, dann hat er ein Hook-Icon.
At a glance, you'll be able to see who's playing as Claudette, who's playing as Nia, which Dwight is in the closet. Exactly.
I think there's one more thing as well that has been asked forever, and you're very happy about.
Along with this update, we are releasing 2 new settings, which allow
UI-Scaling.
players to control.
Wir bekommen UI-Scaling. UI-Scaling. Sehr geil. Du hast mehr Bildschirm und mehr Quality einfach. Das ist das, was das Game so ein bisschen gebraucht hat. Dieses Quality of Life. Aber ich befürchte, dass mein Quality of Life nicht kommen wird. Und zwar brauchst du deine Perks und willst gerne diese speichern. Und wenn du mal Lust hast, auf diese Perks zu spielen, kannst du auf Schnellwahl drücken und dann werden die Perks ausgerüstet. Mit den Add-ons oder so. Und das gleiche würde ich auch gerne bei Skins haben. Du mixst ja deine Skins so durch. Und das würde ich da auch am liebsten haben. Aber ich glaube nicht, dass das hier mit enthalten sein wird, weil es schon sehr speziell ist. Aber es geht in die Richtung.
The scale of their menus and HUD. So no longer will your UI scale be determined by your screen resolution. You can control it yourself.
All right, so just to wrap this up, this new UI change is allowing us some space for new awesome features in the future. Did you have anything else to add, Sarah?
Yeah, so we know this is a big change. We've all been looking at this particular HUD for 5+ years at this point. So there's going to be a period of adjustment. However, this new layout is going to allow us a lot more breathing room to add new features.
Das schließt auch mit ein, so kriegen wir Graphic Settings, wo wir ein bisschen die Saturation anpassen können oder so. Schauen wir weiter rein.
Expand what we can do for you guys in the future.
This is not the final form. That's what you're saying.
No, we have lots of new ideas that we're excited to share with. Can't really talk about it, much of it right now, but we are excited to share it all with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah.
Happy to be here.
So, welcoming Ethan, game designer on Dead by Daylight.
Ethan ist auch irgendwie, weiß ich nicht. Ich weiß nicht, was ich von Ethan halten soll. Also, er macht einen auf sympathisch, aber irgendwie kommt Ethan mir so ein bisschen wie ein Dulli rüber halt, ne? Also auch das, was er manchmal so sagt, es ist nur meine persönliche Meinung. Aber Ethan, er redet so ein bisschen widersprüchliches Zeug, sagt, das geht nicht in diesem Spiel, aber es geht in diesem Spiel so. Oder was hat er letztes Mal gesagt? Lullaby sollte nicht auf Skillchecks vom Doc wirken, wo du dich beruhigen musst von diesem Madness-Zustand. Das sollte nicht gehen, aber es geht. Ich glaube, das geht. Und ich glaube, das war so der Clipper. Ich weiß nicht, was ich von Ethan halten soll.
Hello, Ethan, and welcome. Ethan, we're closing up on the PTB release, so do you want to tell us what's in store for the clown?
Yes, this is actually the first moment we're actually confirming that the clown
Poggers.
is going to be in this PTB. And so I can talk a little bit more about that teaser trailer that Dylan showed us a while ago.
Do it, Ethan. Do it.
The purple bottles are staying the same. So you can play clown the way...
Ich spiele sehr gerne Clown. Viele spielen ihn falsch. Aber ich finde diesen Killer super krass, auch jetzt schon wie er ist, weil er slowdownt einfach so krass den Chase und den Juke, dass du zwangsweise eine Palette ziehen musst als Survivor. Und du kommst halt schnell an deine Hits ran als Clown. Der Trick ist einfach nur, du musst gut aimen, predikten und spammen. So, und dann kommst du schon zum Ziel. Ich bin gespannt.
You're used to. You throw a purple bottle, people get intoxicated, they slow down, you can hit them. You can switch to throwing yellow bottles and they have no effect until they turn yellow. So the gray cloud is like a placeholder until it turns yellow and activates. Any player entering a yellow cloud gets extra movement speed for a period of time. So it's called the afterpiece antidote. And if you're intoxicated by a purple cloud and hit a yellow one, then it will remove that effect. And we're not just changing those bottles, we're also going to reduce the amount of time it takes to reload. That's going to be 3 seconds. Any player entering a yellow...
Any player. Ja, Tatsache. So. Ich sehe hier einen Haste-Status. Warum affected Haste auf einen Survivor?
The afterpiece antidote. And if you're...
Hier kommt der Haste rein.
Intoxicated by a purple cloud and
Und hier kommt der Slowdown rein. Also ein geslowter Haste, wo er eigentlich normales Movement Speed jetzt haben müsste, weil Haste, Slowdown, normales Movement Speed. Also hier sieht es natürlich ein bisschen langsamer aus, aber man versteht so, was ich meine.
Also going to reduce the amount of time it takes to reload. That's going to be 3 seconds now. Yay! Everybody cheer! Yay! I can hear it.
Yay.
Reload Speed, super. Ich mache mir ein bisschen Sorgen, weil du nur 3 Bottles hast. Dafür jetzt einen erhöhten Reload Speed. Warum nicht 4 Bottles?
With adding a new type of gas.
Müsste man PTB wirklich mal checken. Yeah.
Well, we wanted to increase potential for interesting plays with him, and we already like the way the purple bottles work.
Wie läuft denn Jeff, Alter?
So we thought, let's give him 2 bottles. And since the purple ones are, you throw it someplace and it says you don't want the survivors to go there, so you put a negative. The opposite would be you put a bottle someplace where you would like it if survivors went there, so you give them an encouragement. So if there's a dead end over here and there's a pallet over here, you throw a yellow here, and then the survivors are like, do I go for the pallet or do I go for the yellow? Which is better? And it makes a little bit more cognitive load for the players. And then if the clown gets in there, then he is also going to pick up some extra speeds.
Ich muss sagen, wie es auf mich wirkt, so, ich bin gerade kein großer Freund von dieser Haste-Flasche. Kommt drauf an. Man muss es, glaube ich, checken in Sachen, wenn man selber drin ist, so, aber irgendwie, weiß ich nicht.
So it's to create more interesting gameplay around him.
All right, so remember when we tested the skill-based matchmaking back in summer? Well, it's coming back. Ethan, you have more info.
Yeah, so the matchmaking system is no longer going to be based on your rank.
MMR. Let's go.
It's going to be based on back-end calculated skill rating. And one of the great things about this is it means that each killer you play will have a different setting for this. So if you're like an absolutely amazing hillbilly player and you destroy everybody and then you say, I want to learn how to play nurse, and you're terrible with her at the moment, you're not going to be playing against rank 1 survivors while you're trying to figure out how to play the nurse. So it's going to be better for survivors. It should be better for killers.
Das ist besser für alle. Das ist wirklich besser für alle und nimmt vielleicht so ein bisschen die Toxicity aus der ganzen Community raus, weil jeder das Gefühl hat, einen fairen Match entgegenzutreten.
Because of this, we now need something to do with ranks. So as soon as the new matchmaking system goes live, we will be switching ranks to be a reward system where, depending on the highest rank you reach during the month, you will get blood point rewards.
Also for Blood Points Rewards, ja. Aber ich würde es geil finden, wenn sie die Ränge nicht mehr anzeigen würden in diesem Game. Wenn du nicht das Gefühl hast, dass es hier wirklich um Rang geht, dann spielst du das Game halt anders im Bewusstsein, mit viel mehr Freude einfach.
And then at the end of each month your rank will reset to 20 and you'll build your way back up again.
Okay, ich war seit 2 Jahren kein Rang 20er mehr, außer, na doch, einmal, wo ich auf dem PC angefangen habe.
We get those rewards twice. If you get to high ranks on both.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so I've heard that the clown is not the only one getting changes. Do you wanna add a little
Me
bit
too.
on this?
Me too.
I would love to. We've got true invisibility coming up for the Wraith, which means that if you are more than 24 meters from him, you can't see him at all. Not even a little bit. But once he gets within 16 meters, you will see the shimmer that you see now. And between 24 and 16, it will increase from being nothing to what you see now.
Okay, du siehst also seine Silhouette oder sein mythisches nicht mal aus der Ferne. Also ich sehe einen Wraith, wenn er Stealth ist und ich habe eine gute Map gegen ihn, sehe ich ihn wirklich gefühlt kilometerweise schon. Wenn Wraith diesen Buff kriegt, more Kill-Potenzial, weil man sieht halt, wenn Wraith auf einen zukommt, ne? Auch wenn er Stealth ist, das siehst du.
You will no longer be able to see the Wraith off in the distance on the map with his little shimmer bobbing around. Another thing that we're fixing is the trapper's traps. I don't know how many of you have done the math, but if you have a 25% chance to escape from a trap, that's only like a 60% chance to escape in the first 4 times. It's around 60. Somebody's going to quote me on it being wrong because it's 63 or whatever, but
around that. Yeah.
It's around that.
Okay.
And you have a 10% chance of still being in the trap after like 10 attempts. It doesn't feel good. So we've changed it so that now it will take 1 to 6 attempts. when you step in the trap, we choose whether it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and then that's how many times it will take. So it's never going to take more than 6. This does mean that your rough chance of escaping each time is 16%. So the first attempt is going to be a little less likely, but it will never go to the long tail on the other side either. So on the whole, it's going to be better for everybody.
All right, Ethan,
Okay.
so we're changing a couple of perks in this update. Do you want to go over what we're touching?
Yeah, sure. We have a list, and it includes diversion, also known as pebble, fixated, hex undying, iron maiden, open-handed, and second wind. This is a list of perks we said we were going to update soon a while back on a dev stream.
Undying.
They have made it through the pipeline. And
Undying gamers.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Introducing Guillaume, game designer on Dead by Daylight. Welcome in, Guillaume.
Aber ich denke mal, Undying wird einfach die Vision verlieren und dann einfach nur Totem Replace haben. Es ist dann immer noch sehr stark so, ne?
Hi, Gab. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Guillaume is here today to discuss the upcoming animation changes. Can you explain to us why we're changing these animations?
Yeah, after 4 years, almost 5, we felt that the game needed animations side. We
Benutzen die alle so ein Biodynamic oder so? Müssen die alle immer so in Cockpit-Sprache reden?
needed to update those animations, just like give a visual update and a bit of love to these system as well, not only the animation themselves, but the systems to be able to support any other features moving forward. So we updated some of the animation and mostly the locomotion for survivors.
Okay.
All right. So can you give us some example of what's coming?
Well, basically it's the locomotion. So the idle stance of the art tractors, both male and female, the run, the walk, the...
Die standen mega komisch gerade da, ne? So ein bisschen aufgezogen, wie so eine Puppen, so ein bisschen Freitag der 13. Flair, habe ich irgendwie das Gefühl.
Crouched, injured state, but also transition when you move from one direction to another. We added those transitions.
Es wirkt authentischer.
Also a new crawling animation with new turns, a recover animation.
So when we're talking survivor locomotion, what kind of gameplay change should we expect with these changes?
In terms of gameplay, actual gameplay, it should have not changed.
Oh, sah authentisch aus, ne?
The idea, and that's the reason why there's a game designer talking about it as opposed to an animator, because it's mostly animation work, technical animation, but one of the goals was to not change the actual gameplay and how locomotion and navigation works in terms of speeds, turn rates, accelerations, and things like that.
Ja.
But we definitely wanted to improve the looks, change the stance, the way the character moves in terms of body movement and aesthetics.
Der Jeff sah vorhin mega komisch aus, ne? Wenn die rennen, die Rennanimation sah doch eigentlich ganz gut aus.
All right. And so we're talking about locomotions, which normally would be in movement, right? Are other animation also changed? For example, cleansing totem, entering lockers, I don't know, throwing a pebble, teabagging, things like that.
Most of them, no, because they're interactions, and we did not touch interactions, because this is, again,
Keine
a different
Änderung bei
topic.
Teabagging oder Interaktion.
It has a heavy impact on gameplay, and this is something else for the future. Though, like teabagging, for example, which is crouching, which is a locomotion, kind of a gameplay.
Wie hardcore weird das aussieht. Aber vielleicht authentischer.
We did update that animation. Well, actually, before there was no animation at all. It was just a blending. So we put in an animation and we kind of iterated on it to make sure that teabagging still feels satisfying to our players. We did change that, but it should play the same.
All right. Well, thank you so much for...
Stell dir mal vor, 4 Survivors vor dem Killer und fangen an zu teabaggen und das sieht irgendwie aus wie so eine Sportgruppe.
for joining us today, Guillaume. And I think that's the awkward moment where we say bye.
Interessante Changes. Sieht ein bisschen nach Quality of Life aus. Wir werden sehen. Der PTP kommt demnächst und dann werden wir mal auschecken, wie das Ganze so wirkt. Vor allen Dingen, wie das Ganze so wirkt auf die Spieler, die schon über 5000 Stunden in diesem Game gesteckt haben. Ich wollte das nur mit euch sharen, ein bisschen mal quatschen oder so. Vielleicht habt ihr ein eigenes Feeling darüber. Gerne in die Kommentare oder sowas. Und ja, das war's jetzt hier mit dem Video. Und ja, vielleicht sehen wir uns auf Twitch. Schwitzt nicht zu doll beim Zocken und werdet nicht so viel tilt. Sayonara, Matane, Jana und stay healthy. Tschüss.